Egypt has its first democratically elected leader. The Muslim Brotherhood's Mohamed Morsi has been named president.
Morsi was addressing the Egyptian nation after beating former Premier Ahmed Shafiq in a runoff vote. He becomes the country's first president after the downfall of the former ruler Hosni Mubarak.
Now the new president faces a struggle for power with the country's military rulers. Morsi has promised to be a president for all Egyptians and called for national unity.
We are all Egyptians, both Muslims and Christians, with great civilizations, and that is how we will remain. We will fight all those who will try to interfere with our unity.
They certainly are, Lester, with fireworks as well. Egypt today took a major turn, electing a conservative president who wants to impose Islamic law. It was a year and a half ago in this square that students brought down President Mubarak. But in the end, it was the Islamists who managed to do what the students could not: rise to power.
2 p.m., Tahrir Square. The Muslim Brotherhood is already celebrating. But their victory in Egypt's most important election ever still isn't certain. 2 hours later, judges appear on state TV to officially announce that the Muslim Brotherhood's Mohamed Morsi has in fact won with a 52% majority. Tahrir explodes in both joy and religious ecstasy. God is greatest, they shout.
It's mine! Egypt's mine!
Here they are singing a simple Islamic chant to give thanks that Mohamed Morsi has won the presidency. Egypt is at a crossroads. Decades of secular, often oppressive military rule are over, and now this country is starting a new Islamic chapter.
After 30 years under the rule of deposed dictator Hosni Mubarak and over a year under military rule, many Egyptians are now overjoyed to finally have a democratically elected president. Euronews' correspondent in Cairo heard from a few of the voices in the crowd of thousands who are celebrating in Tahrir Square. It's a huge joy, said this man. It's a legitimate victory. A victory for the revolution. This has allowed us to get rid of the last members of the old regime, because they are the cause of all Egypt's problems, from the beginning of Mubarak's reign until the present day. The Egyptian people have suffered a lot, but today they can feel relieved. Their dreams have come true, the dreams of the revolution. We want the military council to give powers to the new president who's been elected by the people. We ask for the cancellation of changes to the constitution that have been imposed on Egyptians. The people have chosen their president, they've chosen who they want in power, and now the vote must be respected. I'm really glad. It's a big day for Egypt. I can't find the words to express my joy. Our correspondent says Mohamed Morsi's victory in the presidential election doesn't necessarily represent the end of political crisis in Egypt, but it does open a new chapter of confrontation with the military council, who still maintain legislative power and a large amount of executive power.
So let's get some international reaction to that election result. President Barack Obama has already telephoned Mohamed Morsi to congratulate him on the victory and also call for unity in Egypt. The US says the new government has both the legitimacy and the responsibility to represent Egypt's diverse population. Egypt's neighbour Israel says it respects the election results and expects the new government's cooperation on the basis of the peace agreement signed between the two nations more than 30 years ago. Iran also welcomed Mr. Morsi's victory, describing it as the final phase of a new era of developments in the Middle East and the Islamic awakening, as it called it.
U.S. President Barack Obama called Mohamed Morsi to congratulate him. Mr. Obama urged Egypt's president-elect to reach out to all of his country's political factions. As CNN's Jill Doherty reports now, the White House hopes Morsi will work to stabilize not only Egypt, but the region as a whole.
The White House is breathing a sigh of relief now that Mohamed Morsi has been declared winner of Egypt's runoff election. A victory by Ahmed Shafiq, the former prime minister of Hosni Mubarak, would have been a potent sign that the Egyptian military still rules the country, and to a large extent it still does. President Obama called Mohamed Morsi, pledging that the U.S. will continue to support Egypt's transition to democracy and that it will stand by Egypt's people. He also called Ahmed Shafiq, the former prime minister, the losing candidate, encouraging him to continue to play a role in Egyptian politics by supporting the democratic process and working to unify the Egyptian people. The White House also issued a statement. The United States congratulates Dr. Mohamed Morsi on Egypt's presidential election, it said, and we congratulate the people for this milestone in their transition to democracy. We look forward to working together with the President-elect Morsi and the government he forms on the basis of mutual respect to advance the many shared interests between Egypt and the United States.